Hello everybody, this is Benita. Let's go ahead and make our envelope closure for our album. Okay, so we've started with our base page, which is 8 by 8, just like everything else. We have a top flap and a bottom flap, and these flaps are actually the exact same size. They are 8 by 5 3/4, scored at 5 and 5 1/8. That's the top and bottom. And then we have two side panels, and they are both the same as well. They are 3 1/8 by 8. We're going to score it 2 3/8 by 2 1/2. So let's go ahead and get this put together. All right, so let's first start by adding our sides, and I'm going to clip my corners. We're going to do that on both of them. And I'm going to put that right in my little bucket here. And we're going to go ahead and get our glue and burnish it. Hope your day is going well. Beautiful, again, in Montana.
No, that's super cool. I guess I never.
And we're just going to get that down there. And whoops, I almost forgot. We're going to burnish that down. This needs to be cleaned. It's got so much glue on it. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so we're going to go and put the second side down. I kind of like to have this in each of my every albums because it gives the recipient a nice way to store some things, photos, and then just other mementos. Burnish that down. And now we're going to add the top and bottom. I'm going to go ahead and add the bottom first. And I'm not going to trim those because I want them to cover up my stuff there. And let's just glue that. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Put that right at the bottom. Sorry, you can probably hear my grandkids in the background. Hope that doesn't affect anybody. That's going to go like that. Okay, and let's go ahead and put the top on there. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one on there. I already started getting glue on me, and that's kind of funny. Let's just make sure that all goes together. What kind of wonkers there? What's going on with that? Okay, a little bit. Just a second here. Well, I got something on there a little wonky. Okay, well when I put my magnet on there, I will make sure that we are getting that a little more, kind of got that out of whack a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I got that one over far enough. I don't know if I can, yep, I'm not going to take it off. Okay, so before we do anything, let's go ahead and put our score tape on the back of this because it is much easier to do when we don't have anything attached to it. Okay, so I'm just going to put my score tape and I'm going to go around the perimeter first of all. Because we want to make sure that this has a good stick to it. So I'm just going around the perimeter. And I could have made those flaps run to the back, but I didn't. Whoops, forgot that.
Get it touched.
Okay. Cooking chili for today, and it sure smells good. Okay, so we're going to put one tape down the middle, and then we're going to put one in the middle of each of those. Okay, so let's just burnish those so those are all ready to go. Okay, so before we do anything, we are going to put our magnets on because I have been not very good at putting my magnets down correctly. That is gonna... Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my first magnet down. And remember, we want to get it like a finger width away, if you can. That is not always 100% possible, but when you can, that's what we want to do. And we're going to put a piece of score tape above it and below it. Burnish those really good. We're going to put our other magnet, I can't get a hold of, right on top of that. And we are going to put our glue on there. And we are going to go ahead and close this. And that's stuck again. Boy, every magnet we've put on, it has stuck all by itself, which that's kind of great, but normally it doesn't. So I don't know what I'm doing right that made it do that. Well, at least I'm putting my magnets on when I'm supposed to and not causing any grief there. So let's just get that on there. Let's just make sure that it closes. And it does. Okay, so now we are ready to go ahead and put our paper in. So the first thing let's go ahead and do is we are going to put photo mats on this. And again, remember we are reverse photoing because we had, we normally do black. We're doing white paper, so we have black photo mats. So I'm going to just set these photo mats inside here. Just kind of get an idea where I'm going to go and make sure that you do not go over any of your score lines on your stuff. We're going to leave a little bit of white all the way around, and we're going to go ahead, get all the edges with glue, and stick that down. Whoops, I should have burnished that one first. Let's go ahead and stick this one down. And you can just, you know, even up your, where they're going. And again, you know, I used to use decorative paper behind this, where this white piece of paper is, but the last couple of albums I've actually done, you know, the base color of what my album is, and that actually gives you really like an extra page of paper because you'd always need whatever size. And if I make an 8x8 album, it takes an 8x8 piece of paper for that. And so this way it allows you to put photos down there and save some paper. And that's really kind of cool. And we're going to come through and put something right here, probably a butterfly that will just sit here right in the middle, but you'll still be able to put your photos underneath it. But it will probably end up, whoops, sorry, doing something to that effect there, so that when you close it, it'll get squished, but you will be able to put your photos underneath there. Okay, so now let's grab the inside of our envelope closure is going to be pink, and we have, again, two different sizes here because, whoops, excuse me, these two sizes, these are not the same. But I will make sure that the sizes are on the screen, so you'll see that the top is a little bit bigger than the bottom. So the part that's 4 3/4 inches wide goes on the top. And what was sticking right there? That's kind of funny. I thought it felt like there was a magnet sticking there. The bigger one goes at the top, and the one that's 4 1/2 will go on the bottom. And then we have two sides that are 2 1/8 by 7 3/4 that will go like that. So let's get those added. By now you should have all your pages done. We're going to get ready here to put our album together. That's very exciting. Let's burnish that down. And be careful because I have my magnet right there. Let's go ahead and put our sides down. Just center that in there. You know, as I thought about, you know, who could receive this album, you know, what about an expectant mama? Would that not be a beautiful album to give to expectant mama? Not for her baby, but for her in her pregnancy journey. I have lots of young women that are doing a lot of recording on their pregnancy journey, and you'll get lots of photos of them, you know, with their bellies and, you know, all that kind of things. Their baby shower, maybe. There's a lot of people that do that, and I just thought, wow, that would be such a beautiful album to give to a mama to be for her. Whoops, shoot, I forgot to take off my tape. You know what I did yesterday, you guys? Oh, sorry, my hair. I literally stabbed myself right here in the hand with this poker tool, and let me tell you, that hurt. I opened it up. I don't even know what I was thinking. Obviously, I was not thinking. I opened it up. I'll show you here just a minute what I did. And holy smoke-a-broonies, did that hurt. Okay, remember, I've got my magnet in there, so I want to be careful that I don't. Again, it's always great to have your magnets back farther when you can put that finger width in there because it's easier. It sticks down. So what I did is I had this like this, and I opened it when I had it like this, and it stuck. I had it up here pretty far, and it stuck right in there. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the top on. And again, you have two different sizes of the top. We have the 4 1/2, which is going to go on the bottom, and the 4 3/4 that goes on the top. Make sure you have that right side up. Isn't that beautiful? I love this paper. I just am in love with it anyway. But I also thought about what about the bride's mom? This would be a great album for the bride's mom that she could put, you know, photos in of her daughter's journey into her wedding, because a lot of times, again, there's more and more people taking photos now of different journeys in their life, more than we ever did when I was young. I mean, we never did any of that. And so now there's just a lot of journeys going on, and I just think that those would really be good. What about a girl's 16th birthday? It would be a great thing for a girl's 16th birthday. And, you know, there's just a lot of things to think about, and there's nothing better than giving one of these as a gift. It gives me so much joy to watch how they react, especially because the people that I give them to, obviously do not make these. And so they are in awe, first of all. How could we even do that? They're always in awe about how we actually make the album itself. They think at first that we bought it. People ask me if I scrapbook, and I'm very, very, very clear to say I do not scrapbook. I have never liked scrapbooking. It's never been a passion of mine. I'm going to lay this flat like this so it'll be easier to put these on. Where is my other one? Okay, now, you know, this happened to me yesterday. I just had them. I just literally had it. Where did it go? Okay, this is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, I couldn't have stuck it down. Oh, man. I think there is a gremlin in my house. Yesterday I had lost a piece, which I still haven't found, and I will have to fix it as we do it. Now I have lost this one, and I just had it, and I don't see it. So I will have to gather it and come back to that. You guys put your other piece on here. Okay, so that is ready to go. Mine's a little bit crooked, and I cannot fix that, but I am not going to be a worrywart over it. Now, as you know, we did not do the string closure on this one. We just did a magnet closure. Okay, so you can always do the string closure if you so choose. And we did that on my first video, and I'll probably do it in my next. So I just kind of like to change it up a little bit. So there's that. Okay, great. We're going to move on to the waterfall. Thanks. Okay, so let's put together the waterfall. So you've already made the base through using my tutorial, and we're just now going to go ahead and decorate it with the paper. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is let's put our magnets on, and I already started by putting this magnet on. I do not want to ever forget to put magnets on again, because I have a tendency to do that with you guys. So I went ahead and put it on this bottom, on the flap. I know this is white, it's hard to see, but what I'm going to do, instead of having my flap go on top, I'm actually going to have my magnet be underneath, because I want this top to close like that instead of like that. That is my preference. If you want to do it and have it on here, then you can sure put this magnet on the other side, but I want I want it to be like that. Okay, so I am going to, I've already adhered this one, and I'm just going to do my glue on my magnet. Close that down, get that a push. And, oh, they'll see that one didn't stay. That's the first one in this whole time. Now, this is the last of our magnets, so we've used 5 sets now. And I will always keep my albums to 5 sets of magnets. That's a package of magnets from J&S Hobbies. And I think that is super cool and super doable. So I'm going to go ahead and put my score tape. Be careful when you put this score tape in that you don't get it past where you need to put your paper down. And I think I'm fine there. This score tape right here might be a little bit tricky. So I think what I might do, I'm just going to put that on my paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do this. So here are my 2 pieces for tabs. Oh, and let's, you know what, let's put on our top piece right here. Your top piece is this. It is 6 by 4.5. Let's go ahead and put, I'm going to lay this down like that. I'm going to go ahead and put that on first. And by the way, when I was putting my envelope together and I was missing that one piece, I did find it. So that is now attached in my envelope. My page with an envelope on it. It was in my stash. I don't know how. I swear before I videoed it, I had it, and I guess I didn't, and I just had misplaced it in all my paper stash. Okay, so there's that. And let's go ahead and put on the strips. So what I want to show you is, as you can see right here, here's my 2 strip sets, and I'm going to try to put these together so you can kind of see. In your instructions when you cut, it told you to cut these. This one right here would be 6 strips, and this is for the outside, this is for the inside, and you had to cut 7. I actually did cut 7 strips because on the bottom pocket here, I'm going to do something different than I normally do. So I ended up, out of this one, it said to cut 6. I ended up cutting 7, and here's the 7th one right here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I started from the top, by the way, of this one. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that because I thought it was cool. And then this one I just cut 7 as well. So remember, these are going to make a cool picture when you open up that waterfall, and that's kind of one of my signature things. So let's go ahead and put the big piece in here in the inside pocket, which is this piece right here. It's 6 by 5 7/8, and that is just going to go right inside that pocket like that. So let's go ahead and get that glued in. We're getting so close, because after this, our next step will be to actually put in the pages. And then we'll decorate the cover and decorate the whole shebang. So we're getting so close. I'm so glad you're taking this journey with me. I think it's been a beautiful album. Put that in there, burnish that down. Okay, let's go ahead and start by, ooh, you know what? This is not, I'm going to have to cover this with a whole piece right here because I put the magnet right there. I didn't think about that. So see how sometimes I don't think ahead? If you put the magnet on here, I don't know if I can get this off. I will try. Nope, I'm not going to try to pull that off. Not. So, shoot to toonies. I'm going to have to find a piece of paper to put up here. So we're going to go ahead and put on our strips that are down here. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to start with the first one, and that's this one right here. And you just want it to come down just so you have a little bit of white showing on right below it. You don't want to put it up too far because then it catches on your flat before it. So these you make a little bit closer to the white than you would anything else. Going to center that in between and just do that. We're going to leave. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to take my black paper. I'm going to go right underneath here again. I'm going to take my second one, and it's going to go right down here, close to the white, down here at the bottom of that. Excuse me. See what happens when I craft on the fly? I put that magnet on, and it isn't even going to work how I want it. So I'm kind of bummed, but oh well. We will make it cool. I mean, it's going to be cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just not what I wanted. Okay. We're going to do that. I'm going to move right to the next one. And it helps when you do a black paper underneath here, or when you're doing a black album, it helps to put the white paper underneath there when you're doing these strips on that waterfall, because then you can see actually, it's easier to see where they go and as you build it. Okay, again, you want to make it pretty close to that white, not right on it because you want a little strip of white. But this is not as, I mean, normally we would not leave just that baby amount, but we are on these. Okay. Again, these are 3/8 inch because we have a half an inch white showing there. And again, this is my waterfall that I created because I'm like, why are we putting so much paper in there when all you're going to do is cover it with photos? I do not come back here and cover this with a black mat. You sure can. It just makes it bulkier and heavy. So you sure can, but you do not have to. And I typically do not put a photo mat on them. Okay. It always helps to have your strips here in the right order so that you don't put them on wrong, because once you glue them down, it's there. This glue, you can maneuver it for just a few seconds, but other than that, you are pretty much stuck with it, which is good. That's why I really, really like this glue. It is the best glue to have. Again, remember, it's that art glitter glue. Once I discovered it, I have not turned back to using other glue. I used to use Eileen's. It's okay. I'm not going to, you know, but this is hands down, 100% better. Okay, so look at that. I just absolutely love this because it gives you that picture. Now, again, traditionally, we would have something different on the pocket. So what I'm going to do, and see, remember, you need to open these one at a time because they will catch. So I'm going to open these one at a time. So whoever your recipient is, make sure that you tell them that, because otherwise it catches right underneath there. So you just have to tell them that. I'm going to actually, I cut this piece for my pocket, is in your instructions. I'm going to put that on first. I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to lay it pretty close up to the border punch there. And it's not going to cover my whole space because it's not quite big enough, but that is, and I don't care. I'm going to put that on there. And I just want to throw this one down to make sure it's all in alignment. And what I'm going to do is, here's my 7th strip that I cut, and my 7th strip I'm just going to put right on top of there, so when that closes, it finishes up that picture. See? Isn't that cool? So I'm going to leave that closed. So I just added a 7th strip to my pocket and covered up a piece that I'd already put down for my pocket, which was the piece that I chose was just a tad bit short. And I'm like, that's okay, because I will just cut a 7th strip and put that strip down there. And voila. And that looks okay there. And here is our, let me put my glue on here. Look at that. Is that not cool? Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this right here. And I'm going to go backwards. So here is my strip set for the one going backwards. So I'm going to start with this one right here. And again, we're going to put it pretty close up to the white. And this one, on my last waterfall, on my last album, the inside strip set was kind of random. And you have plenty of paper. I personally cut, as you kind of saw in a couple of my photos, some strips by trying to create something. And I could have used those, but we have plenty of paper. So it's always cool to me to have this create something. Make sure you take the right strip as well. Just kind of finger pressing that on. I just think this was the neatest thing. And I'm sure somebody else has thought of it. I've never seen it before since I did it. So I don't want to 100% take credit for it because I don't know that. But I feel I've personally never seen it. But again, that doesn't mean that somebody else has not created it. I think it's such a great use of paper. And it saves you so much paper and allows you to use this paper that you would cover every one of these with for other things. Something else I thought about we could give this album away to. What about somebody that has just either has just started their journey with breast cancer? This has got a lot of pinks in it, or is in the middle of the breast cancer journey, or has just completed it. Wouldn't this be a great gift for them as well? I think that would be very, very a wonderful gift for that. Okay, I have one more, and then I will have for you I will put in the cutting guide the piece that we're going to use to cover up that top one with a magnet in it. Because I'm going to do the same thing I did with my pocket, but I need to first, okay, let's close this down for just one moment. And remember, you need to do it one at a time. I'm going to grab my stash. So this is my stash that I have left. So I have quite a bit left. So I'm going to gently put this down here. And I'm going to find a piece, which could be that right there. And that, except for that's not 6 inches, so we don't probably want to do that. Let me see. Is this one 6 inches? This one is 6 inches. And I believe, yes, so we will use that. And I will go mark that in my cutting guide. So you'd already had this cut. When you got here, you'd already have it cut. So let me ink my edges because I wasn't prepared for this one. We could also make this a pocket as well at the top here, but we're just going to go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is take my pokey tool and try not to kill myself with it, because remember I told you I did that the other day. That hurt. I'm just going to lift those because I'm not exactly sure where this is going to end up. And I want to put some score tape across the top of it right there so that it will adhere right there. Maybe this isn't, oops. And I'm going to take this one off as well. And let's hope this works. I still think it's worth having the magnet right there because I want to do some decorating on the top of that, and I really wanted it. I really wanted that space open. So I'm going to line this up again with my first fold down there. And let it adhere to the adhesive. Now this is my last. Let me open this back up. I have my last one to put on right there. And I believe this is going to be fine. I'm going to glue this. I probably could have put score tape on this one, but I think we're actually fine because the magnet is down there. And again, I'm going to go pretty close to the white, the top there, and put that in. So because we put that magnet there, and obviously our strip is not going to be big enough, I went ahead and added this. Again, this will be in your cutting guide, so you will already have it cut. And it's the same style that's up here. And so you already had it cut. But what's cool about this, again, so we know when we close this one. Look at that. Love it. And when we open this one up, we have that beautiful. Is that not incredible? And again, with this pocket piece down here, that didn't do any harm. And with this one up here, that looks fine. So that is that's super cool. Okay, so let's now what we have left. We'll put these 3 pieces back in our stash because you never know. And then what we need to decide is we have 2 of these and we need to know what one should go on the outside. And I think it should be this one because it has some gold in it. So you know what I also need to do is I need to put a little bit of pink on my edges because I did not do that. I don't know what I was thinking. And I will do it on both sides because both sides will show. This is such a beautiful border punch, you guys. Again, I can see myself using this for more tutorials to come. So watch that. I love border prints or border punches. It would be rare that you would see me with an album that doesn't have a border punch I use because I think that just adds so much. Okay, so this one we're going to put on first. This one's going to go on the inside. Okay. Okay. Just center that. And I had you cut these I cut mine a little bit small, and so in your instructions it'll be just a tad bit bigger. Okay, so what I want to do on this one is I want to make sure that we put score tape on the sides of it up by the magnet. So I'm just going to I put score tape on there. Burnish those down. Pull off those sticky tabs. And we're going to glue on the tape whoops, good thing that fell upright. Or the right way, whatever. We can put glue on here. And we're just going to center that. And push that down. Look at that. Okay. So again, we are now finished with putting all the paper on. Whoops. You could still have it closed that way, but I just did not want, because the magnets will go through each other, but I really wanted it like that Doesn't that look elegant? And I'm going to put some flowers and stuff up here, so be ready for that. Okay, so then what you also need to do is you need to make sure you put all your score tape in the back. I went around the perimeter and I had put four, so I went put 4 individual strips down the middle of that. Okay, so there you go. So now we will move on to our next step. Thanks. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and put our pages in our album. So what I have here is a stack of the even pages and the odd pages. So in this one, I have page 12 up, because remember, we're going to start with page 12. So we have 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. And when you have these pages up how they're supposed to be and you turn them over, your 3/8 inch score tape is going to go on the left-hand side. Again, this is the even pages, starting with page 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. You turn them over and your score tape goes on the left. The odd pages start with 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and when you turn those over, you're going to put score tape, 3/8 inch score tape all the way around, and then 2 pieces of tape the vertical way on your pages. So make sure you have your pages right. So we're going to set the odd ones out of the way for a moment, and we are going to grab our album and we're going to start putting our pages in. I have nipped off a little corner off of each of my things, and remember, you only go down to that 1/2 inch line, and it's just a baby amount, not a lot. Okay, so let me grab my black. Remember, if we were doing a black album, we'd use white paper, but we're going to go ahead and put that in there. It helps you see that. I'm going to take my first page, page 12, and I'm going to remove that tape. And remember, this is important, I'm going to put glue on it because that allows me to maneuver that if I do not have it how I like it. Then we're going to put this on here and we're going to go right to that score line that you put on there. Okay? And you want to gently put it down, and then you're going to turn it over. Is it good this way? And is it good this way? It's perfect. Thumbs up. Okay? I'm going to go on to page 10. I'm going to go ahead and remove that strip. This is the beauty of the binding system that I use. It's not foolproof because there's nothing foolproof in my opinion, but it is pretty successful. Okay. Again, I'm going to put it right up to the score line and make sure it is straight. Looks good there. Kind of give it a mini press. Not quite straight there. There we go. Okay. Okay, we're on to page 8. Again, we're going to put glue on our tape. If you forget the glue step and you put your page in crooked, you are done. Okay, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to put my page on there to that score line. That score line. Looks okay this way. Let's turn it over. Looks great. Page 6. I'm going to put glue on there. How does it feel coming down to the end of the album? Once we get all this stuff in, our last stop will be going back and decorating everything. Okay. Again, I'm going to go right to that score line. Looks okay this way. Mini press it. Look that way. Perfect. On to page 4. Whoops. Always make sure your pages are going the right direction. Okay, page 4 looks good. Looks perfect. You can also burnish it down. And page 2. It helps to have all those pieces pre-taped, I guess is the word. And we're going to go right to the score line on this one. And the kicker is getting your 6 pages right, because when you go to put your other pages on, when the first 6 pages are right, the next set you're going to put on is good. All right, that is absolutely perfect. So we now have 6 of our pages in. Look at how perfect that is. Okay, so I go backwards now, and I'm going to start with page 1. So again, I'm going to remove all this tape. First of all you want to do is you want to make sure it's, when we put these on, we're going to be concentrating on making it fit out here, not on the 1/2 inch score line down here. Okay, so I'm going to remove all this score tape. You can use 1/4 inch score tape if you don't have 3/8. I like 3/8 because it just gives that a little bit more grab with the tape. And remember, we're going to want to glue all of the tape. And I know that takes time, but you want to do that because if you don't and you set it down, that's where it's going to stay. Okay, and I'm going to also glue in my empty spaces as well. Okay, remember, we're going to come out here to the corners, and we're going to get the corners to, I was going to make sure my hair wasn't in the camera there. I'm going to line up my corners. And when I line up my corners, the rest of my album should line up. Okay, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to burnish it down like this. Okay, successful. Page 3, I believe we are on. Take all these pieces of score tape off without sticking myself. I'm going to glue on that tape. I glue on that tape first because it doesn't dry as fast on that tape as it does on the paper. And then I'm going to, again, scribble in my empty spaces. And again, I'm going to match up my corner there, my corner here. And that should make that fit all the way across, and it does. And you just have to find what is going to work for you to burnish it down. Okay. We are on page 5. See how quickly this goes when you do it this way, you guys? And it shouldn't be a hopefully it shouldn't be a stressful process. Well, it might be, but it shouldn't be as stressful as maybe in the past you've done it. Again, we're going to scribble all on that tape. I'm going to scribble in the empty spaces. We're going to line up our corner. It should line up there. Put that in place. We are on to 7. Take all this tape off. You can always pay attention to make sure you have your pages going the right way. That's why I like you to draw put the number on in an arrow at the top, because it's very easy to put your pages on upside down. And oftentimes when you realize it, you're too late into the game to repair it. Again, I'm going to touch my corners. Sometimes when you have really bulky pages, this process is just a little bit harder to stick it down. The 3/8 inch tape actually helps it much better than 1/4 inch tape when you're doing this. 1/4 inch tape does take a little bit more to adhere it. So I'm on page 9. Feel free if you have to pause the video. But you get the idea. We put the even numbers on first, back to front, and now we're coming back with the odd numbers. And the reason I don't put the tape on the 1/2 inch binding system is then if you do not get your piece all the way down because you need to make it fit, then you'd have sticky tape out there. So that's why I don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to put it onto the corner. Into the corner. Stick that down. And guess what? We are on page 11, which means we have installed all 12 of our pages. Is that not exciting? Woohoo! Gosh, this is going to be so incredible, you guys. We are gluing that tape. Gluing that tape. Gluing the tape. Gluing the tape. Gluing the tape. Going to match up the corners. Put that down. Okay, so before I go on, let me put the top back in my glue. Oh shoot, I bent that pin. Oh my gosh, I really bent that pin. Okay. Okay. So now I have got a mess. Look at all those. Looks like straws. Excuse my hair. You like my hair? Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to bend in those creases to make this book actually lays pretty flat anyway, but now that they're all stuck and we're going to go backwards, you've got that crease there and you just want to kind of bend your page. Bend each one of them both ways. That's what makes them lay really good. Again, you're going to bend. See how it continues to make them lay so much flatter? Is that just not the coolest thing ever? Bend. Okay, let's go ahead and put the other 2 pieces on in the front. So this is our envelope. That's just going to go set right down in there. And again, we've already score taped it, so we are just ready to rock and roll with that. I have to be careful about my score tape papers. My dog, for whatever reason, thinks they are fun to chew on and choke on. So when my mom and I get crafting and we have these tape, those everywhere, we have to be really careful. Okay, and speaking of my dog, he just came into my studio. I don't know what he's doing. So now, again, on the same thing on this, I am gluing on my tape. And then I'm going to scribble in my blank spaces. Make sure your tape should be running vertical, but make sure that you have it right side going, and just center it in there. I'm going to open that up to do that. Close it back. That is so stellar, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is so stellar. Okay, now I am going to have to put a piece of white paper on here, and I did draw a line kind of where I needed it. And so what I did is I kind of put this on here and put this here, and then I kind of drew a line where I needed. And so I just took a piece of white paper. It's about 1 1/4 inches, and I score taped this one because, again, I don't want any lifting on this. That's why I don't like to put paper on it, because it can lift. But this is a small piece, like the one in the middle we did, and it's okay. You know, this is you can buy white chipboard. I personally have some. It's white on one side and craft on the other, and so if I would do that, I would want to make the white show up on here, and but you don't have to have white chipboard to make this work. Okay, so we're going to burnish that down, and we're going to set that on there, and we're going to put this one down first. Remember, that's our piece left over from our strip set. And I don't know why I did this. I started score taping it. It doesn't need to be score taped, but I started it, so it's got a few pieces of score tape on it. I don't know what I was thinking, but because I put score tape on it, obviously we want to glue those score tapes before we set it down. And normally, again, I wouldn't have score taped this. I just had got score tape happy. Okay, make sure you leave this enough from the gap, because you do not want it to rub and cause any closure problems. Burnish that down. Is that not so cool, you guys? And then this, we're just going to center in what we have left. Again, we've already score taped this. And I'm just lifting up the score tape. And we are, whoops, that was a 2-piecer. I must have ran out right there. And then I'm going to glue on my tape. I hope you understand the importance now of gluing on that tape. Some people are like, I'm not going to do that. That's silly. And I learned that tip quite a while ago, and it has saved me so many times. I can't even tell you. Okay, make sure it's the right side up. We're just going to center it in all that. Press it down really good. I'm going to put this on my glue. I'm just going to lift this all up. Remember, you have to open those one at a time, and I get sometimes. Now you can, if you want, and I might come back when we do decoration, you can put strips right in here, and I probably will this time because we do have plenty of paper. But as we finish up our decorations, I will do that. Okay, so there is our pages. All right, we're going to move right along. And I already have, you should already have your pages for the front and back already cut via the instructions, and you want to put score tape on them. Now the score tape for your front and back, so on the front piece, you're going to score all the way, you're going to put score tape all the way around, you're going to put a tape down the middle, 2 on each side, and the side that is that's going to open, I always put 3 pieces of tape there, so that way when I go to put my hook and eye on there, it's got a little bit more oomph on it. So let's go ahead and take all that score tape off. And again, feel free to pause it. If you don't have your score tape on, pause it right here, get your score tape on. Remember, 3 pieces of tape go on this side of it. Whoops, dropped one on the floor. Hope my dog does not come back in here. And we are going to glue on our tape. And then we're going to glue all over. Make sure that you have the side that's going to go, look at that, just got glue on me. And we're just going to center that. And by the way, you see I did ink my edges on here, just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. And here is my piece for the back. Again, these are all pieces that you already have cut. I believe this is 7 inches by 8 1/4, I believe is what these two were. And okay. And guess what we're going to do? Yes sir, yes sir, that is it. We are going to glue the tape. Again, this is 1/4 inch tape. I only use the 3/8 inch tape typically when I put my album together. Okay, we're going to scribble. Whoops, 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 whoops. And again, make sure it's right side up. And just center it on there. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do in this little segment is we're going to put the excuse me, I have to take a drink, is putting on the binding, or the spine cover. The paper I had you get from J&S Hobbies is Peacock, and the Peacock paper has a little bit different texture on it, so it's a little bit more flexible. I did have you the measurements for it already, but this is like 8 1/8, I believe, by 8 1/4. I believe it's 8. Is it 8 1/8 or 8 1/4? I will have it on the screen. And then we scored in, I believe, at 2 1/2 inches, and just lightly scored that 2 1/4 inches, I think it was. I'll have it on the screen. Again, this doesn't really score, but you kind of want to have that notion where it's at. So you can kind of see. And this is easily folds because it is like a textured paper. It's really kind of a cool stuff. And remember how we had the test? I had made a test already for this. This is my tester piece. Remember I said do a tester to see how it fits. So this is 8 1/8 by 8 1/4, and this is for a 3 1/2 inch spine. It should work most of the time, so keep a hold of this after you make a tester. Cut it out of white cardstock, black cardstock, whatever you want to do. Score in 2 1/4 inches from each side and fit it to your book. And with a 3 1/2 inch spine, it should work really well. Okay, so just keep that in your arsenal. Okay, I got some really cool clips that my mom got me, and then I found them. They're big honker clips, and I actually got them at Bed Bath & Beyond for $5. You get, I think, 6 of them or something like that. My mom gave me this one because lime green is my very favorite color, and so she gave me that. That just kind of helps us do that. Now, remember on your spine, we have score taped all the way around, and then we score taped horizontal, okay? And that's really important to help us get this on. So the first thing that we're going to do, and let me get my book out of the way for one moment, is we're going to take off the score tape down the long side, and then we are going to take the horizontal strips, and we're going to make them into that L shape just past where the 2 1/2 inch score or the 2 1/4 inch score was. And again, it's not a deep score because this paper doesn't score like that, but you can see where it's at. That's going to allow us to just work on the side that we want to work on. And that will help us tremendously. It's hard to get it off this paper, by the way. Again, we're just making those L shapes by picking those up and getting them out of the way from where we're going to adhere the first piece of it. And we're only going to adhere it to the front at first. Now, we can't always do glue on this one, but on this because of how we have to get to it. But, oh shoot, a Rudy. That just came up. The score tape, and I'm going to grab another piece of score tape because I do not want, this is too important not to have score tape. My hand got it and it peeled up from the paper. Sorry about that. If it does that, you want to grab another piece of score tape and put that in there. Okay, let's go ahead and get glue on this. So I'm putting glue on my score tape. Oh, careful. This is hard on... oh, you know what? I might have used 3/8 tape. 1/4 inch tape is fine, but I think I might have used 3/8 in the middle of them. Okay. Now let's get our book over here. And sometimes you can lay this down like this. You cannot put your whole thing across here down. It will tear because your book is not flat when you open it up. But what this lets us do is actually, no, I don't want to do it that way, so just forget that, because I need to make sure it fits over here. So one of the things with these clippers, what you can do is, I've got it lined up in the back with how it's supposed to go in the back. We're going to trim, we're going to give these L's a haircut. How about that? So they're out of our way. Okay. So I am going to put this one on. One of those L's do not want to cooperate, so I'm going to have to pull them even farther. So just be careful of what you're doing, because you have to get them out of the way. That's part of the problem. So I've got it even back here. And when I come over here, then with that on, there's a clip. It helps me keep it in place. And I want to make sure I get it even. This is just not cooperating, so I'm going to take that clip off. And I got that even right here at the top. Right here. I'm going to kind of go around, make sure it's hard to get a clip in there because of your stuff, and it's in alignment there. Okay. So with that, we're going to keep this. We want to make sure that it's going on my spine all the way down. So I've lined it up down here. Okay, so let me get these papers out of the way. Now we have to take these lovely snakes, papers, whatever, and we're going to, shoot, that one is stuck. And I'm going to take them the rest of the way off. Those thicker ones, they're from 3/8 and they're a little bit harder to handle. And again, what you want to be careful of is when you set it down, I mean, we can actually go ahead and put some glue on it. Let's put some glue on there, you guys. And I'm going to put glue right down that spine area and in my empty spaces. This feels like it's more of a soft, pliable paper. So now when you bring this around, you want to make sure it also matches up at the top there, right there. Okay, and I've got that matched up. So that's looking good. Let's turn it the other way. And again, we want to match it up as best as we can. It's looking pretty good. And we want to now make sure we burnish it really, really, really good everywhere. Everywhere. Make sure that's all adhered everywhere. Make sure all the it's on there. Be careful, but do go ahead and go over your corners. Turn it over. I want to make sure it is all adhered. So it looks pretty good. Get all my junk out of the way. Okay, now the test is always when we open our book and it opens beautifully. When you turn it over, you'll see these little crinkles in there. And you can do many different things. You can pinch them with your finger. You can very gently kind of rub them down with your bone folder. You want to be very, very, very careful that you don't tear the paper. But that's looking pretty good. This is like really flexible paper. So, and I'm just going to go on both sides of them with my bone folder. There we go. Ta-da! That is incredible. Look at that. Nice. Got my, there you go. Okay, that ends this session. So our last session, we will complete all of our decorations inside, and then we'll end up decorating the front and adding our closure on there. So we will have one last stop for me to visit with you. So I hope you get this far, and I will see you real soon.